We have, Barbados has a lot of connections, a lot of family right across the region. So we are hoping that you will call us and give us some of,
let us connect with some of those people. You may be able to, they may not be able to call us, but you can report exactly what it is that they're saying and how they're feeling at this time, how they're coping at this time.
We've activated our social media, so you can do your video recordings and your still photos, and you send them to us on 228-5562 or 228-5563. Our hardworking production team who have been here all day long tracking Tropical Storm Brett with us, and so we can bring this to you as well. They'll be working hard to ensure that we can share with you what other people are experiencing as well. I know I would have heard people talked about claps of thunder and how the rain was hitting really hard on roofs and so forth. I don't know. We didn't experience that here.
I got that last night.
You did?
And I actually it woke me at just after 11, and I actually got up and called a friend of mine and said, wait, did I sleep through the whole day, or the storm came early? It was serious thunder and lightning and in the parish of St. James. I spoke with some colleagues. I think one lives in St. Philip, and she talked about experiencing the claps of thunder as well. Funny enough, I mean, I was here all day. I haven't heard any thunder. I didn't see any lightning. So I'm assuming that, I don't know, maybe there was, maybe there wasn't, because we were in the building, we didn't hear anything. But again, joining Pearson and Joanne's appeal to send us those videos, those WhatsApps. If you have the videos, the pictures, you've heard of anything, you can let us know right here.
Indeed so, but we want to find out the very latest at the Emergency Center, Operations Center as well. That's where Wendy Burke is. I'm hoping, Wendy, that this time is post the briefing and we can get further updates.
Yes, it is post the briefing, Pearson. I have with me the Acting Senior Superintendent, Rodney Archer. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you, too.
Right. Now,
to Barbados.
Can you bring us up to date the last briefing with Mr. Best and where we're at this point in the country?
I would suggest that Mr. Best give you that briefing because there's a lot of weather information involved. And I don't want to go into his technical field.
Understood.
And he is due to give a briefing.
Okay, but based on what he would have given you, how does that change your mobilization and strategy plan?
Well, we still persons, we have not changed because he has suggested that the weather patterns are uncertain. We are in a favorable position, but the weather patterns subject to change, so we still have all plans in place in relation to dealing with this weather system.
Okay, in terms of some of those plans, let's try to break it down by sector. Say for the QEH, what's the current situation there? For the police, what's your situation for the fire?
Well, I can tell you we have representation in the OC. We have 17 ministries and agencies, including the representative of the QAH, Dr. George, and he has advised that he is ready. All of those agencies have reported that they are storm ready to respond to any emergency that should confront us.
Okay, now in the event, say somebody does have an emergency, we were told that we had to be off the road at 6. But should something happen to us within our homes, something falls, unfortunately, we, get a gash, we're bleeding, what would the likely response be? Should I ambulance? Should I attempt to take that person to the hospital? Or will the police stop me on the road if they find me out after 6?
I would suggest that you call the ambulance in a medical emergency, but situations will dictate the pace. And if a person has to respond in an emergency situation, the police, rather than stopping them, will assist them in getting to the hospital if that is the case.
Okay, well, we're glad to know that the Barbados Police Service is there, primed and ready to help. Now, some of the other agencies you have in the room include housing, for example. We know there were there was a house or two that would have lost the roof, one that collapsed. So would the Ministry of Housing been able to jump in and assist with those situations, or would the individuals have gone to shelters?
In this instance, we would want to house persons in shelters until the system has passed and the all clear has been given. It is after that that the Ministry of Housing will jump in and try to find a more permanent shelter for such persons.
Okay. Now, I also manage, I think I saw some of the hoteliers amongst you. Now, for individuals who may have been en route to the airport to go back home, you know, what happens in situations like that? Because they are citizens, but I think they're still, you know, ultimately our responsibility because they've been caught within a natural disaster.
Well, I don't think that aircrafts would have been flying after the warning had been declared. I personally saw aircrafts flying when there was a watch, but after the warning was declared, I'm not aware of any aircrafts in the air.
Okay, so if those persons were stuck at the airport, who or what would be their line of contact in terms of being able to find a space and safe place to be?
That question is one that you would have to pose to the members of the hotel industry. I cannot respond to that one.
Okay. Now, paint the picture for me before you have to get back to man things downstairs in terms of where the island is at and if there are any hot spots at this point.
And when you say hot spots, are you referring to?
Any issues of trouble, any places where we've had the elderly reported to be in water or anything of that sort?
We have not had reports of such a critical nature, and the reports that we have had are few and far between. Persons on shore as to the safety of the houses, and they were assisted in one way or the other. But we haven't had any hot spots, to use your term.
Okay, well, we're happy to hear that.
Cooperators General Insurance wants you to be responsible on the road and take the driver's pledge today. I will not drive.
Thank you, too.
Okay, that was the acting senior inspector Archer there speaking to us. Superintendent, sorry, speaking to us, who is the head of the NEOC. As we said, Brett is not just impacting Barbados, but it is also impacting some of our neighbors. And here with me this evening, thank you so much, Superintendent. Here with us is Miss Liz Riley of C.A.N.M, and she will enlighten us as to the role that her agency is playing here in Barbados, as well as what's happening in some of our neighboring territories. Come a little closer. I won't bite you, I promise. Now, what are we looking at in terms of the response that C.A.N.M has been able to give here to the DEM and the NEOC?
So thanks, first of all, and good night to all the viewers in Barbados, and I hope you're all safe. So the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, C.A.N.M, is a regional institution which has the responsibility for supporting all areas of disaster management, including response to our 19 participating states, which include, of course, Barbados in the event of impacts, and we do so on request. So with the formation of Brett, one of the first things we would have done was to activate our regional plans. And because Brett was also posing a threat to Barbados, we also had to look internally at the coordinating unit to make sure that we were fully ready to not only take care of the agency and the personnel at the agency, but to position ourselves in a way that we can still respond even though we're in a location that's under threat.
Okay. Now, in terms of that response, what does it usually entail? Is it a situation of technical assistance? Is it a situation of giving necessary hurricane supplies? What exactly do you do on the ground to help those in need?
Yeah, so there's a range of things that C.A.N.M does to support states that are impacted. We offer technical support. We have what we call surge support teams. And you could appreciate that in small island states, there's the national systems have human resources, but the human resources will of course get very stretched in times of emergency. So we train personnel across the participating states, and when events happen and there's a request from a state that's impacted, we're able to basically borrow personnel from places that have not been impacted and move them into spaces that have been impacted. And because the system is organized along common standards, it means that persons who work, for example, in the Emergency Operations Center in Grenada can easily come over to Barbados and slot in and support. So we have surge teams that assist in emergency operations centers. We can provide personnel who can help with damage assessment. We work with the regional fire chiefs to provide personnel for search and rescue. We also work with the C.A.N.M Disaster Relief Unit, which is a group of 35 personnel. We train up in collaboration with the regional security system, and they assist countries with relief management and logistics. So, for example, in 2021, when we had the volcanic eruption in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we worked collaboratively with partners, including the World Food Program, to set up a logistics hub in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We coordinated relief supplies across the CARICOM space, worked with partners, including Tropical Shipping and a number of our military and private sector partners, to make sure that we could move those relief items that were collected in various drives. So we assisted Barbados, for example, in moving a large quantity of relief items which were collected here and get them into St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and then we assist them with organizing it and basically ensuring that we decongest it, because often the ports in our islands are quite small. So we want to be able to have relief items flowing in freely. We organize them and repackage and help with the distribution. And it's all really in support of the state. So the way how C.A.N.M assists is that we're guided by the national entities, and they will tell us what type of assistance they want, how they would like to have it, and we try to slot in to provide support as best we can.
Okay, so AS and C.A.N.M will deliver.
Yes. And in addition, we work also with development partners. So we help to mobilize resources, financial and other technical resources from a range of entities, including our regional institutions, UN partners, international non-governmental organizations. They coordinate through C.A.N.M.
Okay, well, we're very happy for that assistance here in Barbados and the region. I want to thank you for always being on board in times of disaster.
Thank you. You're welcome.
That's Liz Riley of C.A.N.M. And I'm going to hand back over to you for now, Pearson, you and the team there, because as we said, there's a lot going on at the center. I'm going to try to get some more shelter information for you, and we'll get that.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Different Bowen. We are tracking the storm here at CBC, and coverage on the stations of the CBC with the compliments of ICBL. Always there when you need us most. Western Wholesale Inc., Cooperators General Insurance, insurance the way you want it to be. Eddie's Trading, the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union. This is where you belong.
We're tracking the storm, Tropical Storm Brett. Barbados remains under tropical storm warning. We have reports coming into us via WhatsApp, and we do encourage all of you watching and listening. You can send your messages to us via 228-5562 or 228-5563. We'd love to see some videos and some still photographs as well, so do encourage you to please do so. We have a report coming in of a fallen pole at Bridgefield in St. Thomas. A fallen pole at Bridgefield, St. Thomas, but you shouldn't be on the road, so we hope that no one or property has been affected by this. But I know you want to hear the very latest bulletin, and that's where Derry Bowen comes in now.
Thank you so much, Pearson. The tropical storm warning remains in effect for Barbados, and a tropical storm warning is issued when sustained winds of 34 to 63 knots or 39 to 73 miles per hour associated with a tropical storm or hurricane is forecast to affect Barbados within 36 hours. In this case, within the next 12 hours. Now, the center of Tropical Storm Brett at 8 p.m. today, Thursday, is located near 13.4 degrees north, 60.3 degrees west, or approximately 54 miles per hour or 87 kilometers to the west of Barbados. The center of Brett will continue to move westward at 16 miles per hour away from Barbados over the next few hours. As Brett continues to move over the island chain, an increase in sustained wind speeds is expected as bands extending to the southeast of the system moves over Barbados. Therefore, the tropical storm warning remains in effect for the island. Maximum sustained winds associated with the system are near 65 miles per hour, and the potential impacts include the high winds can result in the tumbling and rolling of unsecured objects like inflatable structures, tents, and garbage cans, along with some breakage of small branches and trees. Some injury and danger to life is possible from flying debris. The marine conditions will remain moderate to rough in open waters with swells of 2.5 to 3.5 or 8 feet to 11 feet into early Friday morning, the 23rd of June. So around Barbados, choppy conditions will particularly affect the island's eastern and northern coastlines. As a result, a small craft and high surf warning remain in effect. Mariners are advised to remain in port. As the center tracks to the west of the island, outer bands of Tropical Storm Brett are expected to generate rainfall accumulations of 1 to 3 inches across Barbados, and this may result in flash flooding in low-lying districts. Now, the next update will be issued at 11 o'clock tonight.
So here we go. This fallen pole is at Bridgefield in St. Thomas. As we encourage you to continue sending your messages, your WhatsApp videos and photographs to us on 228-5562 or 228-5563. Now, Debbie, you spoke earlier about what's happening with those who find themselves without home and the possibility of shelter. We do have the man who leads the Barbados Alliance Against Homelessness, Kimar Safri, with us now. He joins us. Mr. Safri, good evening to you. Thank you so much out and joining us. And talk to us a little bit about the readiness of your facility to house those who may need to do so.
We were ready since yesterday when we got the information from C.A.N.M. Our shelter is prepped. It was activated at 12 o'clock today, so we started taking clients off the street. Our team went out, make sure that persons were also notified about what time they can come in. We gave out some information to them as well, so that, you know, whatever their needs are, we can meet it. So we have been having people come into the shelter. But last count of the persons there is about 40 persons so far that is in the shelter, and we can hold up to 90 persons. But we know that for some of the clients, what they would do is test the weather, as you will put it, and as it worsens, they will then seek more and more shelter. But we have found that a number of persons are coming to the shelter. We've also found that some other persons who were seeking shelter due to other reasons have come to the shelter. We would have directed them where they can go, but we are seeing an uptake in the amount of persons coming in so far.
Are sheltering, what can you tell us about the kind of support you give to them while there?
So while they're there, they can relax, ride out the storm in the shelter, play some games, watch some TV, you know, just to keep time for them, said thank you past being joyous. They will receive meals. So while they're there, they've been taken care of. And generally just relax and we had the best part for us is to just make sure that they're safe. They're not on the streets. Well, things may be pelting about. So the whole idea is that they're safe. I was happy to see that a number of them were moving faster, not testing the weather, but they were coming off the street fast enough to be able to use the shelter. So I'm happy to see that they didn't wait. But there are still a few that out there that are kind of just waiting to see if the worst happens, and then they will make their way to the shelter.
Without stereotyping, can you give us a sense of who's coming to the shelter that they're for sustenance from yourselves?
Most of the clients that are going to come there are the ones that are fit for purpose, are fit for the shelter. You're not going to find so much of your quote unquote your vagrant type or chronic vagrants coming to the shelter, so they're going to more go to their normal spots. But you're going to find people that just, most of our cases, what we found is that when things kind of ease off, that you find the chronic level of home vagrancy, or the clients that are chronic vagrants will come to us for food and come to us, and we do have packages prepared and ready to give to them. But once they come, they won't be turned back once they're willing to comply with the rules and the regulations of the organization. But for most cases, this is like our second storm first was a hurricane. This is a storm that we are going through, and they kind of understand the protocol and know the protocol. But we don't turn them back per se. We have dorms that are set out based on the condition of the client as well. So we can host persons, and we do have private dorms inside of the shelter if a person comes and they possess like mental health challenges or anything like that. So we can host persons if we need to. And there's a full clinic there if anything goes wrong.
What happens from your perspective? Because when it happens, the ordinary homeowner will trigger by going to the supermarket, stocking up on this or that. What happens from where you sit at the Alliance for Homelessness in terms of getting ready to receive those clients who come to you? When does it?
Yes, it takes a lot because our team has to go on the street. We have to inform them. We have to prep the shelter with everything. We do have hurricane stocks that we would have put aside to make sure that we have popped up items and water enough that we can rally up for a couple of weeks. So we have the food stuff there, and we have things there that can help them. But a lot of preparation goes in from the small team that we have to just ready in the shelter. Security is in place, because there's operations, there's wardens, there's a number of individuals that just make it happen and at short notice. We are a shelter, so we have to make sure we have all the necessary sandbags, the tarpaulins, whatever, we do have glass around our building as well, so we have to make sure that we have things ready, that if one of the glass was to shatter at the bottom part of the shelter has the glass, we can patch up and go again. So, but I can say, we are good on if power outage. We can hold our own for a couple hours if the power goes out, and we're making use of solar as well. So we are prepped as a shelter, and the clients could rest assured that, and Barbados could rest assured that the clients are safe within the shelter, because we do have men, women, and children at the shelter at this point. So we want to make everybody happy and safe while they're there.
In terms of the number of people who are at the shelter, could you give us a sense of how many children are seeking shelter there?
So we have right now two children there right now with a mom. I can tell you there's roughly about 7 or 8 females, and the rest are men. And as I said, they're still coming, and the warden has told me that he's still checking in people at this point. Deputy Prime Minister would have visited the shelter and would have met one of the parent with the 2 children there as well, and greeted some of the men. So again, numbers are still coming. People are still coming in. We will have a final count before but probably within another hour or so. But we are seeing them coming, and we're happy that they're coming.
The doors aren't closed to those who turn up, but would you want people still to call ahead, just to be sure that you don't find yourself overwhelmed by capacity?
No, persons can come. They don't need to call. They could just turn. Once you're finding yourself in the position of being homeless, you can just come to the shelter. Well, we do have a 90-bed facility. We do have a lot more room in the building that
So, folks, we're here again on Caribbean American News Network. I have been by the computer all afternoon monitoring the latest development. There, we're over in Barbados following their live program, and they're speaking about the shelters that are in full effect. All right? Stay tuned. We'll be back.
We have on the line now Ms. Japman from the Met Office, who joins us. Good evening to you, Ms. Japman. All right. And of course, we told you that at 8 o'clock, the position and the potential impact, high winds that can result in tumbling and rolling of unsecured objects. And you would have had all of your stuff secured up until this point. So we urge you, please, don't make your way outside. You see something moving around, flying around, don't attempt to go outside to try to...
All right, so we're getting better coverage from the authorities there in Barbados. We tried to log into the government of St. Lucia's live program. It was constant interruption. The folks at NEMO, the government had a live program tonight trying to keep you, the people, informed. But let's go over to a weather report in Barbados right away.
With our listeners and viewers, and we need to have it in our terms. Break it down for us. Tell us exactly what is happening. Where is Barbados at this point in time?
Okay, so if you can see behind me, we have our radar imagery up on the screen. So Barbados is here. It's not very clear, but the center is just between St. Vincent and St. Lucia, which is right here. So it has already passed Barbados, and the system is moving westward into the Caribbean Sea. What we are monitoring here is this band to the southeast of the system, sorry. So this is expected to drift northwestward over Barbados in approximately about 4 hours or so. So we are monitoring it to see if it holds. With that, we've been seeing some gusty winds associated with the band. So that's the main impact that we are looking at now going forward as it relates to Tropical Storm Brett.
Well, you know that some folks will say, oh, they say that it has passed, and that means now that I can come outside and I can do this and I can do that. Please, can you urge Barbadians that you are still monitoring and you are still tracking the path of the storm?
Right. So what I would say is, when I spoke about pass, I'm talking about just the center. So we all know that Barbados is pretty small. So the system is significantly larger than the island. So even though it's not a huge system, it is still larger than Barbados. So the center of the system has passed. You have a circle and you have the center of the circle. So only the center has passed. There are still bands extended from the system. We've been talking a lot about what's going to happen in the southeastern quadrant of the system, and that is the one that could possibly bring the impacts to us, which would be the rainfall that we are talking about and the gusty winds tonight. So that is what we are monitoring, and that is what Barbadians should be waiting to see what happens as it relates to that. So you don't want to go out as yet. We continue to stay indoors and wait until the effects of the system has moved. Everything associated with the system has moved to the west of Barbados, and there are no longer any expected impacts.
And while we are concerned about what is happening in Barbados, of course, we're thinking about our neighbors. Can you give us an update at this point as to how our neighbors, St. Lucia, Dominica, Martinique, how they will be affected at this point?
Right. So St. Lucia, when we looked at the data, we've seen that there are some gusty winds approaching St. Lucia, but most of the deep convection associated with Brett has somewhat diminished. So it's not it is not heavy with rain as it relates to rainfall. So for St. Lucia, for sure, they're looking out for that gusty winds, possibly gusting to storm force, affecting them over the night. And then there's the possibility of the shower activity as well.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jackman, for your update.
So there you have it, folks. St. Lucia should be bracing themselves for heavy wind, and that is storm force wind throughout the night, and also rain showers. Barbados, as we heard earlier, they are waiting for the outer band, I believe, of the storm. Tonight is a watchful night for St. Lucia and Barbados and the other islands, Martinique and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not the Grenadines, but mostly the mainland. So, St. Lucians, you got to brace yourself and keep indoors as much as you can. And sadly, the shelters in St. Lucia have not been activated, and that is the truth. A list of shelters were put out there by the government, but they are not in effect. Those shelters are not functioning at this time. Those shelters are just names. We are getting reports that some of the shelters were just tagged as shelters but cannot accommodate human beings. Very sad. Here we have a report in Barbados that their shelters are functioning. Shelters, they folks there in those shelters, and very sad indeed that the St. Lucia government, they are saying that it is very costly to have the shelters open, and very unfortunate, bad decision by our government there in St. Lucia, and I make no bones about it. You cannot put a price on protecting lives. There is no price that you can put on opening shelters to accommodate people. And even though there is no need for the shelters, let's say the hurricane passes and, just barely do some damage there, and there is no need for the shelters, it still would have been a good investment in the people of St. Lucia. And so I make no apologies to anyone for those statements, and these statements stand as my testimonies, my position there. So and like we were saying earlier, it doesn't matter whether you open one shelter in a community or two shelters in a community out of all those that was listed. And by the way, why do you have all these 200 and something shelters when you know you can't man them, you can't manage them? Why do you have them? Why? Have you ever thought of revamping or having, going over your plans, your emergency plans for the country, especially in relations to shelters, which is very important? Do we not know when we say to people that we have shelters, that those shelters should be open and be made available to those who are not feeling too safe at their homes, those who do not have families that they want to go to, those who, they're just not comfortable anywhere else but the shelters. Why did we not give our people that option? Why did we say to them, go to your families, the shelters are closed, and as the needs arise, we're going to open them? My question is, if there's a major disaster during the night, no electricity, roads are blocked, galvanized flying everywhere, how do you evac those people and get them into a shelter? The intention of the shelter is to move persons from low-lying areas, give them an option where they can come in, they can be in a safer environment, they can have a place to lay their heads, they can feel that sense of security among other people, they can get a hot tea, they can get something to eat, they can have an emergency person managing that shelter. What is the purpose of a shelter? an emergency shelter? That's the question that we're asking. What is the sense of having shelters that have no stove, no food, and even windows, no windows, and doors, and toilets? Why do we label them to be shelters and emergency shelters when there is nothing going on? All those buildings that you label emergency shelters should have stuff for emergency. You should not be carrying stuff from one place to the other or hoping if there's a disaster, you transfer from one place to the other. Each of these communities should have supplies, enough supply in case there is a freak weather and you do not have time to mobilize and to move assets around. They would have had their water, their hand radios. They would have their dry goods and generators and cutlass and chainsaws and everything that are needed. And by the way, let me give an advice. Why don't we set up a community base in each of these communities that we can house all our supplies to respond? So we don't have to wait for a disaster committee in Castries to send 2 suitcases and a barrel for us. But each communities, we speak about the change in climate. We speak about the changes in weather pattern. But yet we have not made any preparation for them. A little storm, a little rain came some time ago. People lost their beds, everything, and we started asking everybody to donate. We started running to the stores, give us kettle, give us bed. Government do not have a warehouse with supplies for emergency. There is a fire, you go to your factory, and you get a bed, you get a stove, you get something so that you can give the family. You have nothing on hand. You got to ask people to donate. When you are the government, major governments of the world have emergency backup supplies. Whether generators, cutlass, shovels, beds. You have none? Can we not take a few $1 million or ask some friendly country to assist us with disaster supplies that can last for a long time? That even with a regular fire, house fire, you can still build back and provide household appliance and basic stuff for families. And that is how governments have been putting you, the people, first. That's how you're being placed first. So I really don't know. I really don't know, honestly, in preparation for this storm. Drains are being distilled, our rivers desilted today. When in each of those communities we have community council, we have village council that is responsible to keep our drains and waterways clean in the community. Instead, what we have is a greater emphasis on Bacchanal, on Carnival, when we know the starting date for the hurricane season. We know that we are hurricane prone. And up to all these years, governments upon governments, we have not done anything except for training and training. If you're training people and there's nothing to train them for them to use, not even a shelter, when all other countries have activated their shelters. Each of these shelters have folks Look, Barbados is saying our shelters are open. You don't need to call. Just come in. St. Lucia is saying, here are some numbers, call. And by the way, we're not open until after the disaster. That sounds, folks, let's listen to ourselves on the global stage. And not only that, the government should not be telling us that they have no money to man those things. They should not be saying that to us. They should not be telling us those things to us that there is no money. They should not. Because the Speaker of the House alone have cost taxpayers hundreds of dollars. Special prosecutor, hundreds of dollars. Court cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But disaster preparedness, we are begging and scrambling all over the place for courts to give us mattress and all kind of nonsense. Folks, this is just a bad night for me. And I hope you understand what I'm saying to you tonight. I hope you truly understand that this should not be the way that we run a country. We got to get our priorities straight. We are not boasting about our monies that we have pumped into the people, pumped into disaster readiness. Half of our facilities, no generator, no backup power. Facilities that should have solar panels, nothing at all. So we are way behind on social transformation and development in the nation. And we spend more time arguing among ourselves and cursing each other out when we cannot even open a disaster center. We cannot open a disaster center. We cannot even have a proper live to give us let me see if I can find it for you guys. Let me see if I can find it. We can't even have a proper Government of St. Lucia live program to keep us informed. Whittler. Let's go to NTN. Government of St. Lucia. Nope. The life is just back up.
Good morning and good evening, sir. Thanks for joining us on Stormwatch. You are on the ground.
Okay, let me see if I find Stormwatch. They're on now. But you know what? Let me see if I can put it on for you, all right? Let me see if I can get it up for you. Wait till I have, Reverend. Let's see if we can put it up. This is from St. Lucia, right? We were looking at Barbados. So let's look at St. Lucia. Wait, don't go. I'll put it there for you. And you all will be okay. Don't worry. You St. Lucians will be okay. Okay, so let's see if we can pull the St. Lucia feed up. and see if there's going to be any. Let's go. Let's add it. So we have our Bajan site up. Now we're going to put on the St. Lucian site. And it's coming now. Okay, we get in there. Let's see if you can get us. Okay, we're waiting. Okay, we're not hearing anything. Is my system on? Okay. Let's go back over. Still nothing.
For now, and we have also gotten the support of our other shelter managers who are available in the event that the shelter is activated.
Okay,
this is the actual live from the government.
Fishing community as well. What level of intervention has been made on behalf of the fishers there? Did we just lose Ms. Sarsi?
Is she still on? Lindy?
Are you still on?
Yes, I'm on. I still have a question. What's the question?
Okay. I'm asking, in terms of the fishers in Vieux Fort, what sort of intervention has been made on their behalf?
What intervention?
Uh-huh.
Do we have,
in terms of the craft, the sea craft, and I'm sure, of course, with the instruction they would have had to take those inland. What sort of intervention was made on their behalf?
I can hardly know what you're saying, unfortunately. Are you talking about safety in terms of safe travel to the road?
Issue?
Lindy?
Is that? I can hardly know what you're saying.
Lindy?
No, I can't hear your question.
Try one more.
Okay, so how are the fishermen down in Vieux Fort?
What is the weather like?
The fishers.
The what, sorry?
Okay.
Okay, we may have to terminate this call. Yes.
But Lindy, if you can, by any chance, hear me, you address some of the measures taken with some of the families who need shelter at this time. For certain, these individuals occupying these shelters would be thoroughly looked after over the course of this evening and into tomorrow.
Sorry, I'm having difficulty hearing you.
Hearing us.
I would love to listen, but I can't hear you. Sorry, are you not audible? Sorry.
All right. Well, we'll perhaps have to end it here.
Yes,
for now.
We have to call back a little later.
Over the course of tonight, we could try to make contact with chairs, leadership of the various district disaster committees throughout the island, throughout the island's 17 constituencies. I want to still thank Lindy for taking the time to join us. A team down there in Vieux Fort South has had to be activated. They're now tending to personnel, individuals who are occupying the Beanfield Secondary School. It is a designated emergency shelter in Vieux Fort South. Lindy also indicated that the storm, Tropical Storm Brett, has caused some wind-related damage, downed power lines and trees. But if I'm not mistaken, she indicated that the necessary
interventions
have been deployed. So teams are working to sort of restore connectivity and ensure roadways, highways and byways remain clear, traversable. This is Stormwatch. We'll continue to provide you with coverage, updates, bulletins related to the passage of Tropical Storm Brett as the evening progresses. Earlier in this broadcast, we had a conversation with the Director of Met Services. The update or developments in the change of Brett's pathway is encouraging for St. Lucia.
Yes.
the storm has dipped further south, but Mr. Joye, the Director of Med Services, did issue this cautionary note. The brunt of Brett can still pack a punch, and St. Lucia can expect to experience strong winds, gusty winds. Lindy in V4 South just confirmed that V4 South has experienced strong and gusty winds, so that is a likelihood. Heavy rainfall is likely this evening, and St. Lucia remains under a tropical storm warning. Citizens, residents, low-lying areas, this is rudimentary at this point. Stay indoors and wait for the all clear from the NEMO or the Prime Minister. We also had a discussion with the chair, well, the leader, the director of the NEOC, Mr. Lucius Lake. He indicated that there was at least one rescue.
Yes, I think that was in the Dennery area.
Dennery Village. A 98-year-old woman had to be removed from her dwelling and taken to a shelter nearby. Hopefully, we can get a chance to speak with the DDC for Dennery South. That's Mr. Osbert Regis, former police commissioner. Other emergency shelters, a few of them, have been activated in advance of tropical.
So, folks, you're hearing from your government that one elderly woman had to be rescued in Dennery. And we're hearing that shelters had to be activated in Viewfort. Let's go back to the government's report. And before we go back, we're having reports over on our YouTube channel. We heard here from Hardy only late this afternoon they were cleaning the Marshy River in all the rain and strong winds. Alma is saying the winds are picking up and rain. Alma is saying Viewfort, the internet keeps shutting off and on. And we have in Labrie, strong gusty wind and light rain. Okay, so we are confirming based on what the government people here are saying to us that one elderly had to be rescued in Dennery from her home, and also in Viewfort, the emergency shelter had to be activated tonight. And we were just speaking about that earlier, and what we were saying is that the government should have gone out, those community disaster people should have identified those senior citizens, those persons who are in low-lying areas who would have been affected by the weather. There should have been a pre-strike, something done earlier in the game while the sun was up. Those shelters should have been prepared, open. These elderlies should have been removed from their homes. And I'll say to you, I do not believe that any rescue should have been going on at this time. Those persons in low-lying areas should have already been removed from their homes, placed in a shelter, or at family members. Assist them in getting there. No 90-year-old or 80-year-old should have been rescued at this point. That should have been done. That's how important it is for our shelters to be activated and fully functional. Why? You are also risking the lives of responders. Especially if there's trees falling and lines that are down, you are risking the lives of the people. So, for me, it is still sad for Dennery South. It is sad for our people that persons are still having to be rescued at this time of the night. I am really concerned about it. And I believe at the end of the storm, when everything settles, we will have to have a conversation on disaster response and financing for disaster preparedness in the country, on the island of St. Lucia. Let's go back to the government program.
Allow for electricity continuity for a few days. We would have also, at the seaports, ensured that the drains have been cleared in terms of any flooding, to allow as much as possible for water to get outside of the facility into the seas. Our navigational systems, lights, etc., would have been removed. Our boats would have been, our pilot boats would have been removed from the waters. And of course, after operations, when businesses close at the seaports at 1 o'clock today, then we would take out whatever is remaining within the seaports.
Okay, we're hearing that in Viewfort, in the south, there is roaring hurricane force, which means that the wind are picking up there in Viewfort, and our prayers are with the people of Viewfort. If you're from Viewfort and you are on our platform tonight, please let us know what is happening in Viewfort. Please use our telephone line. Let's put it up so that we can have our people reporting back to us here on our network. Okay? So if you are, let's just get our lower thirds up so that we can, just let me find the lower third so that we can at least get the number on the screen. Okay, I think I removed that lower third from our system. So let's go. Let's go. We need to get some updates from Denry, for sure. So I want to put up the number. Those of you with the number, please call to report now. You might not have the opportunity to do so in the next few hours because of the loss of electricity and internet service. So let us know that you are doing well. Okay, I'm just looking for my thirds. I don't know what I did with it. Okay, so that's one of the thirds. So yes, the number is 929-586-1821. Let's go back to the report.
Yes, so once the assessment is done of the airport, once we get the all clear and everything is normalized.
Okay, so we have Alma, who is in Viewfort. She is saying Viewfort is scary. Viewfort is scary. Yes, Viewfort is scary at this time. Okay, so we'll read more.
And you close the airport based on?
The airport was closed based on discussions between NEMO and some of our key stakeholders to ensure that besides the traveling public, that the entire airline community, the 1,300 plus persons we have working within our airport community, can get home safely. So that is why the airports were closed.
Caribbean American News Media, caller, you're on the air. Don't speak yet. Let me just hook you up on the main system. Good evening to you. Caller, let me ensure that I have you so that our people can hear. Thank you for calling Caribbean American News Media. We're here with you tonight, my people. We're committed. Go ahead, caller, you on the air.
Pastor Garfield, I'm in Brooklyn, but I'm really concerned about my people in St. Lucia.
Okay, good. Where are you from? In St. Lucia?
I'm in Brooklyn, no. I'm in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but what part of St. Lucia are you from?
I'm from Banks Library.
Oh, Labrie. Okay.
But I'm getting a lot of Library constituency, Banks Library.
Yes, Labrie is experiencing strong wind and rain?
Yes, I'm online with my people. I'm online Barbados. Barbados is getting a lot of hits. St. Lucy's, my friend sent some videos.
Yeah.
Even St. Vincent.
Yes, St. Vincent
sent some
also.
videos. Yeah, St. Vincent. All of a sudden, St. Vincent getting some licks there too.
Yeah, they're getting beat up.
Yes, so it looked like things are pretty much not looking good.
They're saying that the parts of the storm have already passed Barbados, but there is some parts of the weather that they're concerned about that can pack a good punch on the islands, and so they're trying to monitor that carefully. So tonight is a very crucial night for the people of the Caribbean, and we must keep them in prayer. Tonight is going to be a night where we will have to, keep watch, because it's not looking good at all.
No, it's not looking good. What? Well, but I'm very disappointed because that is not the time for PJP administration to put stuff together.
Yeah.
Because they know June 1st to ending of November is a hurricane season.
Yeah.
So they're busy doing everything while the citizens of St. Lucia is suffering.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm really concerned about the people that's in the stadium there right now.
Yeah, the stadium. Yeah, we have. I'm still trying to follow the disaster plan for the hospital there in Vieux Fort. I know the stadium would experience some serious wind. That's in the south, of course.
And you know where the stadium is, you cannot miss anything there because the wind from the sea, it's just like, Pastor Garfield. We just have to pray for our people right now.
Yeah, I understand. I think you have the same feeling with me. It's just unfortunate that when leadership matters the most, then we have dysfunction, shelters. And by the way, we heard the director of NEMO saying to us that the shelters will not be open until after the disaster.
You should be ashamed of ourselves.
Then she mixed it up and she said, well, case by case as necessary. What does that mean? Our shelters should have been open, especially in Dennery, in Vieux Fort, in those areas. Shelters should have been open, functional. People can walk in.
This is what they have to take care of. They're not taking care of it. And they're just busy doing whatever they should not be doing. And you see, our people will perish of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
We just have to pray for them.
Yeah, very unfortunate, my friend, but what can I say?
Anyway.
What can I say? But thank you so much, and we keep your family in prayer. We keep everyone in prayer as they battle out this first storm for the season. All right? Thank you so much for listening and for being here with us tonight. Thank you. So, folks, there you have our caller in Brooklyn, families in Labrie. All right? We continue to pray for the people of the Caribbean as they face the ravaging of this storm. All right? So, let me see here. So the number is open, folks. You can call us. We have a video just coming into us there. This one is in Dennery tonight. Let me see if I can get it over to our platform. This one is a video in Dennery. Let me see if I can get the code for this video. I can't believe what I'm seeing there. The person, just bear with me, folks. I'm just monitoring something here tonight. Oh boy. I'm going to, let me just, please bear with me, folks. Please bear with me. I'm going to take you over to the NTN, and then I'm going to come back. I just got something in here that I want you to see. Bear with me.
Respond without Lucille in terms of electrical fires and pole fires. So that is still being evaluated as we speak. But so far it has, in terms of responses, these are just the only two major responses and or calls we have gotten for help from the fire department. What
really happens as far as the fire service is concerned, when you are preparing for such an event, how do you go about deploying your men and women to ensure that every area at least is adequately manned, or you can respond to any eventuality?
Okay, so we take there are two factors we take into consideration. Firstly, we ensure that we have adequate manpower for response purposes. And two, we also have to look at, whilst we want adequate manpower, we also have to look at accommodation.
So you cannot have 20 persons in a station and you only have accommodation for 10. So we normally do not cancel the leave of firefighters. What we do is a partial cancellation of leave. So we ensure that, okay, based on the area, we need, if we need, just for argument's sake, we need 10 persons. That will be the maximum response persons we need. We need 10 persons, but in actual fact, we only have 5 on duty, then we'll cancel the leave of 5. So we know the station could accommodate 10 persons, and that 10 persons will be adequate for any major response in that area. So that is what we do when we plan for responses during situations like that.
Now, with the down power lines, of course, some homes will be experiencing power outage.
Okay, folks, we're going to go over to Denry tonight. Denry, let's go over to Denry.
Wait. Wait.
So what you see there in Denry on this clip is persons trying to pull boats under the dark of night, trying to secure their vessels at 9:47 p.m. We're going to look back. We're going to have a look at that again. There was a fisherman in Denver.
Wait.
Yeah, that's what it is there. Hold a minute, our system is complaining that we have a lot of videos open, so we will have to start closing some so we can have better quality streaming. Just bear with me, folks, as I clear up the network so that we can avoid interruptions in the service. It's overloaded at this point, so we're going to be cleaning up Right, so we should be okay now, all right? We should be in the green. Okay, family, so that's in Denver. Let's see what Rachel Smith is saying. One of those voices sound like my brother. His boat is out there too. Wow. So sad. They're trying to save their boats. Again, we always advise the fishermen to listen and to move, to follow. Okay. Let me see what is happening here. Hold a minute, folks. Okay, so someone just sent me a recording of the song, and it sounds very scary tonight. Very scary. But what can I say? What can I say, folks? Okay, so let's go back over. Let me get back over to you. Okay, I have another clip that just got in. As soon as I get them, they're coming in. But based on what we're seeing in Dennery, the fishermen seems to be in distress, trying to get their vessels more closer into shore. They did pull their boats, but I suspect they underestimated the weather, and so now they got to go out at 9:50 to pull that thing in. And what I can guarantee you is that the electricity is going to be cut very soon, maybe the hour or so. We're going to have a problem with electricity. And fishermen already, they like to, Gassa, you know how long I've been a fisherman? Ça paraît jamais fait, Gassa. Ils toujours qu'à dire ça, and by the time you check, they're gone. They lose everything. Okay, so let's listen to Arnold. He says, so they don't have a shelter in place in case disaster strike at St. Jude's. I would be happy to know. I would love to get my hands on the evacuation plan for St. Jude's Hospital. In case there is a major bridge there, where do we take the people? What do we have enough vehicles that we have put in place to rescue the hospital, or to do what? What emergency plan have we put in place to protect the patients there and the workers at the St. Jude's Hospital? Okay? Now, the new hospital that Mr. Chasney built would have been an ideal place for the St. Jude's Hospital. It would have been finished by now, and that would have been an ideal structure to manage the wind, to take, those wind gusts. But what I can say to you is the stadium, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about the new, the old buildings over there. But we got to keep all in prayer. We got to keep the entire nation in prayer. I am not sure if my family is okay. I'm getting some messages that the roof might be compromised. So I'm still hoping for the best there. But all I can tell you guys, those of you who are in the storm, that all the ministers that you're jumping up behind and you're fighting for, they're in their bunkers, fully stocked with wine and all their liquors and their foods and their women and everything else. and you with your galvanized shack got to battle it out because your emergency shelters, there is no money. It's expensive to have them open to save lives. So we'll open them after the storm. That statement will come back to haunt. It will come back to haunt you. And I can guarantee you that. So yes, let me just get over quickly. Folks, the lines you can call anytime, let me know what is going on in your community. I have something here that I need to go through. It came in a while ago. Let's see if we can grab it. Yes. Yes, that Denry one. We got it. Let's see this. Okay. This was earlier today. Okay, the video is saved. Let me see if I can get it over to you, my people. All our stuff, it's raw. Let's see here. Good. Let me get my attached file. Okay, let's see. Okay. Something just got in, folks. Let's see. Might be a video that you would have seen already. But we are on the ball here at Caribbean American News. Here we're going to keep you informed. Bear with me, folks. Stay with me. We have something that came over. This might have been early today where trees are down. People stay safe. Oh boy, I got another WhatsApp notification. Reverend, I am so tired and concerned. But just bear with me, Muela. Muela. Good. Oh boy, the system is bleeding there. Let me cut off government feed. Okay, let's cut off the government feed to keep the system steady. But we got something that just came in. Let's put it up.
There's a tree on your way to Bellevue, just after the Fall Attenual River. Almost at the peak of the hill. Yeah, so anybody that is going to traverse on this road, please be aware. But I'm going to pass anyway, so yeah.
Okay, so that's one that we see in there. Let's go back to Denry. We saw this already, but we're going to go back. So we're reporting to you that one elderly, about 90-something years of age, were rescued by officials there in Denry from her home. We heard of persons being rescued and housed at shelters there in the south of the island, and we are expecting it to be a very busy night there in St. Lucia. Let me just see what is happening here. I have something just came in. Yes. Oh boy, it looks like there is no electricity now. Let me just see this. Total darkness. Okay, let me see if I can get this one to you. Just came in. This might be sound and darkness. I'm here. Can somebody confirm that there is no electricity in Dennery? Please confirm. Thank you, Japet. Thank you so much. Yes, let us look at. I just got something here out of Dennery, and I need confirmation that there is electricity. Naima is in Dennery. Naima, is there electricity in Dennery? Is there electricity in Dennery? We're waiting for confirmation from Naima. There's none? Oh, boy. And they had to rescue this 90-year-old. Can you imagine the amount of other persons who are out there? Okay, let's see here. No electricity, so it's confirmed that Dennery, the power is out officially in Dennery. I thought it would be in an hour, but we have confirmation that there is no electricity in Dennery at this time. Okay, bear with me, folks. No electricity in Dennery. Let me give you a picture coming in, a video coming in from Dennery. Let's see if it is up. A picture from Dennery. A video, a matter of fact, from Dennery. It would have been interesting for me to get this one, but just bear with me, folks. I'm trying to do 100 things at the same time, okay? Bear with me. Let me just save this document again. Now, I don't have I do not have the mouse with me. Not the mouse. Okay. Dennery is getting scary. Folks, don't be afraid. All will be well. Dennery, Dennery, Dennery. Yeah, it's just a little thing for me. Just bear with me. Where's that? I am telling you. Ay, ay, ay. You need to have some patience with me, folks. Okay, there's a file that I cannot find. Let me see here if I can locate it. No, Borico. Oh, something just got in again. Okay, I believe we should have it now. Okay, so that should be it. It's a lot of work for people, a lot of work. Okay, let's see if we can get you now. It will look very dark to you, but listen to the sound, okay? At least we give you some air. That is what they're seeing right now, pitch darkness. That is what is happening there in Dennery. So officially, we're saying to you that Dennery is under darkness at this time. Those persons who were not able to get to the shelters earlier today, either because they were told go to families or our shelters will be open after the storm, then right now it is not a good time for anyone. It's not a good time. It's really not. And I can guess who that 90-year-old woman is. I called her name earlier, and I told the folks to get her to higher ground because I know the area. No one should be rescued tonight. When I say no one, what I'm saying to you is that all that should have been done during the day. And if the disaster passed, nothing happens, to God be the glory. Nothing lost. When it comes to protecting people, there is no amount of money that you will spend. If a citizen of the United States goes down in a boat, the boat sink or whatever it is, America will spend every cent they have to find the wreckage, to find the dead body. They will spend all their money in rescue mission. They're not going to stay on shore and say, well, we don't have money, so maybe there's nothing we can do. Let's wait until tomorrow. No, they are going out. And sadly, Lucians, you got to wait for tomorrow because it's expensive to manage a shelter for 2 days or for 1 day. Shame. All right, we still getting some updates. Okay, we have something from... We have pictures from Ancillary. Let me see what we can do with them, if we can get them up. From Ancillary. Stay with me, brethren. Okay, I just lost some of them. But we had some feed from Ancillary. Oh my God. Let me try to get you this one. Let me try to get you this one. There's a pole on fire in Ancillary. There's also darkness there. No electricity in Ancillary. Stick with me, folks. Stick with me. I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best. Please bear with me. Okay, so Ancillary. I hope the system stay with us tonight because we just got something there, Ancillary. Let's go over to Ancillary. Okay. It's not yet available for us. Those of you from Ancillary, I'm going to be uploading something now. Let's hope we can get it. Okay. All right, let's hope we can get it, folks. Those of you who have to go to work tomorrow, it's okay. You can always view the program another time, but I have something that just came in on the platform, and it seems that there is an electric pole on fire there in Ancillary. It's split in two. So I'm trying to get that up to you. Muela Parico. That's why I said to you folks, go below the link and press on the Buy Me a Book link and support the cause, all right? Buy me a book. It is right below on the thing. Just stick with me. Stick with me. Give me some time. This one is difficult to find. Very difficult to find. Because we are overheating with videos, and they're not coming in order. But there is one that I really want to show you. Okay, we have a call coming in. Let's take this call. Caribbean American News Media caller, you're on the air. How are you, my friend?
I am good, Brother Garfield, given the circumstances we are alive. How are you?
Well, I am tired, but I am here holding up. Do you have electricity in your area?
I still have electricity, thankfully so. But the lights have been flickering.
Yeah, that is the wind.
So so we may have to switch off in a moment, just because you know what happens when you can burn appliances. A lot of things can happen. Huh?
Yeah, and then the electricity company, they're not responsible.
Exactly. Not when not in the time of a storm.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just want to say to everyone, keep safe. Stay indoors. Don't venture outside. The wind is relentless up in the north. It is terrible. The wind, not the rain yet, but the wind is really, really bad. I just got a call from my cousin, one of my cousins who live down in Viewfort, and he said to me, he said, well, first of all, he says he's not getting his calls. Then he said the call was breaking up because I think the service is really terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that. And then he told me, have we seen any lightning up in the north? So I said, well, hardly any, nothing. It's just a lot of strong winds up here for now. Very, very strong winds.
Yeah.
So then he said to me, listen, I'm seeing some blue lightning flashes, some red lightning, and I wish, you know what, I'm going to try to see if I can even capture it for you. So I am not surprised that a pole actually split in Ancillary. Now that you've said that.
Okay, let me show it now. I just got it. Let me just show it for a minute. Stay on the line, all right?
Yeah, no problem.
The pole is actually on fire.
Yeah, I can't see it because I'm using the phone.
Yes,
so.
yes, no problem.
But I'll look at it a little later.
Yep. Okay, all right, good. Yes, caller, you can go ahead, my friend.
Yes,
Yeah,
so that's what I've been told about this lightning thing, and there's no electricity in Viewfort. You said it's gone?
Yes, no electricity in Viewfort and Dennery.
No, they're in total darkness now. But up north, we still have electricity in the north. I guess it's gonna go soon, because it's going everywhere else. I did see the heavy equipment cleaning up the rivers.
That's earlier today.
Earlier today, yes. Yesterday they started. Yesterday, I guess afternoon.
Yeah.
Because about 5:00 they were still going at it, and I saw them. And today, I did not. I heard. Well, I drove past and I heard them. So by the time I turn around, I'm like, oh my goodness, they higher up now. They've gone up. There's the lights flickering again. So all of this work was left undone until last minute in truth. Now, Guy Joseph was on the ball when it came to desilting. This was something he would have done like really, or very frequently. There was a program for it. That is why the flooding had stopped. It was mitigated in Bexon and other areas like up here in Bois in Union, all of the flooding, cul-de-sac, all of that was mitigated. We were not having flooding at all around St. Lucia. Maybe some flooding in Castries, but not that kind of flooding that we saw the last time. So I'm telling you, maybe they may have saved the day a little bit, but this is a long river that starts, I think, all the way up in Babono somewhere and comes down through Grand Riviere, through Corinth, and all the way down to Tria Beach. Badouage, Tria Beach. So if they did not do near Tria Beach, then guess what? All the water is going to back up.
Jesus.
And this is going to be a disaster. And I am praying that they did at the mouth of the river, of the ocean, so that that we wouldn't have, nobody will experience the problems that they had the last time in that trough.
Yeah, because the weather is not as bad as what we have tonight, and there were some major issues.
Yep. But this is absolutely ridiculous. You cannot tell me that you're spending $12 million in jazz. You're already promoting Carnival and doing all of that saga, and you have not even paid attention to places like to desilting, and we in the hurricane season.
Yeah.
And there was a forecast of how many hurricanes we would be having this year.
Yes.
So there's no excuse in the book for the government not doing what they were supposed to do much earlier. No excuse.
Absolutely none. Absolutely none.
I take it, the shelters, I heard you talking about the shelters. There's so many shelters are not open tonight when people need them. They're waiting for people to call them out in a storm to open a shelter for them. That's how we operate in St. Lucia. So in the middle of a storm, when there are projectiles flying, when lightning is hitting you and thunder and the rain is beating on you, you're supposed to take your family and call. You have to call someone so that you can know which shelter to come to. Are they picking them up? Is there anything set up for emergency to pick people up and all of that? This is insane. This should have been... Even if they didn't have so many shelters open for the Garfield, but they should have had in every community one center that is central.
That's right.
Open to the people, and the best one at that.
That's right.
And put in some pull-out beds and some quick things so that in case anybody comes, there's a place to sleep, there's something to eat, there's some tea to drink, there's a sandwich to have or something of that sort.
Yeah, you have all your supplies in that one area.
That's right. It's being done back to front.
Because if I was NEMO director, I would send my supplies to each of those communities to one disaster shelter, central point, central station, central command, where all my volunteers and workers are there. All our supplies, our vehicles, our two-way radio communication, everything is there. Our water boots, our raincoats, our life jackets, whatever is needed would have been there on the ground. But what we're hearing is that we don't have money. It's expensive to man the shelters. Oh, do you all not know we have 200 shelters? What the hell is that to us?
do they don't know? Don't they know that we have people in St. Lucia that have plywood houses in this kind of 55 or 65 miles per hour wind?
Well, they just said they just built three Noah's Ark in Dennery.
Yes, so if they know that they're giving people plywood from whenever at a VAT free or whatever they're doing, didn't they know that they should have had at least one center open in every community? Every single community should have one center, and even if they got volunteers, come in from the community.
I just got a report there from a scared individual in Dennery, and they're reporting that the weather in Dennery has gone down the drain. It has gone really bad there at this time. It has become a situation where the individual, they're so scared. It's dark, and the weather has just gone crazy there. So we're gonna keep the live on, but we have our caller here with us. We're gonna keep her on. She's gonna be with us until she's ready to go. If you want to call in, once you call, I'll let her know and she will come back on. But we need to stay. Those of you who are on the sound of my voice and you are afraid, just be calm, stay calm. Stay away from windows, stay away from the main doors, and the missiles will be flying left and right. But we are praying that all will be well. So you have nothing to be afraid of. Yes, you have a lot to be afraid of, but I say to you, just be calm and trust in God's divine power to cover you and to keep you. Okay, you should have been in a shelter. The shelter should have been open, especially if you're living alone, if you're a single person and your home is not that strong. You should have been in one of the government shelters among other people where you will feel much safer because you are in a group. Okay, so we do apologize on behalf of the government of St. Lucia that they did not have the wisdom enough to know that they got to open their shelters early. And don't tell people to call. Let the people walk in if they're not feeling comfortable at their homes. Period.
That's right.
Caller, you're on the air.
Right.
Caller, you can go ahead. Yes.
That's right, Brother Garfield. People should be able to have left their homes earlier, right? Made their way to a shelter and stay there if they felt they were going to be safer in a shelter than being at home waiting for disaster to hit, because you don't wait for disaster. Prevention, in other words, is better than cure.
All the time.
So you don't wait for people's houses for certain things to happen to them, and then they have to run to a shelter, try to get to a shelter in the middle of a storm. And you're telling me not even in the middle of a storm, you're saying after the storm?
And
after a major storm? Something is wrong with us in St. Lucia, Brother Garfield. Something is not right about this island. Something is just not right. We can't be living in St. Lucia and it's like this.
Okay, I just got a notification from my brother there in Dennery. Part of the roof actually is going up and is slamming back off of the wall. Don't think I could sleep here. Oh boy, so that it is late now. It is 10:22 p.m. and I'm not sure if you can get to a shelter in this weather now. So you will have to stay put. You will have to stay, once you're not getting wet, stay in a safe part of that house. Stay away from the windows again. I would not advise you to go out at this time at 10:23 in the dark. There are missiles that are flying around. You are safer in a corner of that house. You are safer in the corner of that house. Don't move. Stay put. Do not go on the road until leave the home. Evacuation should have been done earlier today. We say it again. Stay put. Don't leave the house. Go ahead, my friend.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here with you. I'm here.
Okay. Is your mom okay then, Brother Garfield?
My mom, I have lost communications with her. And where she's living up there, I am not sure how safe that's going to be tonight. So we're just praying that God will keep them in perfect peace. All right. And there are many others who are out there. Yeah. She says, but the galvanized flopping causing plenty of noise. Okay, Alice. Yes, galvanized are going to be, a lot of damage. You will get a lot of wind damage. And by the grace of God, we pray for calm in the morning so that we can assess and ensure that all is secure. But I will tell you something. If any lives are lost tonight, I'm going to make a big statement. I suspect that I will be the first one to put it at the hands of the government of St. Lucia. Shelters again should have been open, manned, mandatory evacuation from the waterfront. Our senior citizens should have been moved into those shelters. Period. I make no apologies and no bones about this. It's going to be a whole different story, God's willing, tomorrow morning. Call it, go ahead.
And could you believe, Brother Garfield, having said this, right? We already have a lot of carnival events happening all over the place with Calypso tents and this and that and whatever. And that's also funded by the government. So our government paid closer attention to the feds rather than get everything prepared for the citizens of this country in case we had a bad storm or hurricane or whatever the disaster may have been.
Yeah.
And look, today, again, it's upon us. Just like the desilting was not done.
Yeah.
And we had, they don't learn because we had there was a recent trough and so many people lost their valuables and everything else. Yeah. There was even water in the Dame Paulette Louise school.
Yep.
So I don't understand how Dame Paulette Louise could be a shelter.
Oh, yes, you're right.
You with me?
Because I read it on the list that that school got tagged as a shelter.
That school was flooded in the last trough. How could it possibly be a shelter? How? Are these people thinking? I mean, I've got to ask myself what's really going on in St. Lucia in truth and in fact, What's really happening here? I hope St. Lucians are paying attention to what's happening tonight.
Yeah.
I hope everyone is paying very close attention to what is going on in this little country of ours tonight.
Yeah.
Because then they will understand how Philip JP are putting them first. I guess putting them first in putting them first to pay higher taxes, to pay higher prices of groceries, and now also to face a storm with no help from the government. And we have a government in St. Lucia.
Yeah. The fishermen in Denry right now, they're fighting to save their vessels. They're fighting to save their vessels.
Yeah, I heard you said that the thingy broke, right? The seawall.
Okay, I just got another picture here. Denry, Oh my God, Dennery is underwater. Folks, we are reporting to you at this time. Dennery, they're officially underwater. We have police vehicles that are out there, emergency vehicles. Just let me get this up. Yes, Dennery is officially underwater. Officially underwater now. Let me just make one call. My friend, you can go ahead. I am going to just make a call right now to ensure something here. But
no, you make that call. I can always call you back.
Okay, good.
I can always call back. I'll call back.
You will call back? Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay,
All
so
right.
let me just get this here. Folks, stay with me. This is live. These are live. I'm sorry that I have my head down. But that's the report at this time. This is what we are seeing on the ground there in Dennery. Bear with me. I will give you some vision there. And this clip is coming directly from and those of you who are on the line, let me know if you're hearing from your families, if you're hearing from them. Just let me know if you're hearing from your family members, if you are in contact with them. Please let us know. We are here as one family to help each other. There is no SLP and UWP tonight. We are one. We are solutions. Okay, so just bear with me. Again, I have to de-stress the system, and I will have to get into okay. So we were expecting at this time that what we are seeing would have happened. The prediction is by 2 o'clock things will get it will get worse before it gets better. So folks, you got to brace yourself for the outer band of this monster that is affecting the island. So let me add, I did add it, but then my mind played with me and I deleted the clip. Okay, so we have it now. And I will tell you, this clip is from St. Lucia News Online. Let's go over quickly, folks. Dennery. Okay, let's get the audio up. I can't see, so I'll just take you over. All right? This is right now Dennery High Street, close to the Daito, the fisheries. That area is covered with water. I was actually expecting this water. I've never gone up this side. So the new retaining wall gave passage to the water going up on the side there. I have never seen this type of flooding at that place. No. This is something we'll have to review after. I hope that they have taken photos of this situation so the engineers can review the water, the bank, the retaining wall that was built there. Okay, Sarah is saying, I don't know yet. It's scary by me. Sarah, Joseph, you hang in there, my friend. We're here with you. We're here with our people. All will be well. Catherine N. Charles is saying, I heard from my cousin in Denry, there is no power and the wind is blowing dangerous out there, especially on Hospital Road. Yes, Hospital Road should experience, the wind because it's elevated. Rachel, my sister is fine, but they are concerned about the wind. That's good. My sons are doing fine. My mom, I am hoping is fine. Okay, I would think that you have not heard from your mother as yet, Rachel. Let's hope that she's okay. Joseph is saying, I hope they took the people off the streets of Castries to put in a shelter. Yes, it was confirmed earlier today with a call from Castries Central that the homeless was taken in to shelters and are being taken care of as we speak. All right, something just clocked in here. My God. My hat just jumped, Reverend. I don't know what news to expect. That's the truth. My hat just went crazy a while ago. So let me just look at what came in here, folks. Stay with me. Please, stay with me. My mom and I were talking when they took the power. Okay, we have Teddy Z in Viewfort. The Beanfield Comprehensive Secondary School is currently open as a shelter. Presently, 8 people have been taken there. All right, so Viewfort, we have one of the shelters housing 8 people. Something came in. Let me just see what it is. I don't know where to look for it. Bear with me. Let's see here. Stick with me. We're here. Well, something don't want me to get that message for sure. We're here together. My God, yes, the message is just not opening. Let me just see if I can try something else to get the message over. No, that's not it. Oh, my Lord. Ay. Folks, I'm here with you. Just please have some patience with me tonight. Okay, I will have to find another way to get to that message. Let's get back to work here on the platform at Caribbean American News Media. We are on here and we're not on government service, but let's go back to platform. Okay. Oh, my. So, just give me 1 minute. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, let's see here. I wish that we can get some more calls that folks can call to let us know. at some point you will have to reserve your batteries, so we might have to give you time to do that. Let me switch something here. You will hear some noise, folks. I'm just trying to touch base with everybody at the same time. All right. Charles is saying, please check the animals too. We tend to forget the animals. This might not be the right time to check on the animals, you see. And you're right. You know, people sometimes leave the animals out and protect themselves, you know. But if you have dogs and stuff, you know, your goats, you want to bring them in. Even if you have under your house, you bring them under the house or whatever it is. You have an old kitchen or something, you bring them on. Let me see if I can get this call in here. Okay, so Peters is saying here, I heard from my children, but there is no power. God is good God, yes. Eva is saying my goats are in from 3 p.m. Hold a minute, Brother Anson. I have you on the air. Hold a minute. Okay, folks, this is Brother Anson, who is from Dennery. Anson, how is your family back in Dennery? We are following live updates there in St. Lucia.
I was just online momentarily. I was trying to figure out what was going on in Dennery. I was just trying to find out. People say from what I understood that things were kind of calming down. Let me say, since I'm on air live with you and I'm in Denver, I want to say, first of all, good evening to St. Lucia, St. Lucians, everybody. I pray to God that everybody is okay. Like I said, I was on a little live a while ago, and I was preaching actually to these people of St. Lucia. This is a time when people need to come together, when I spoke solely of coming together as a people, you know, under the circumstances. Because when the hurricane, the high wind comes, when the high water comes, there is no color in what's going on. I am asking everybody to come together.
Okay. We having bad connection. Would you be able to call me back on the regular line? We having bad connection on this same number, the 929 number. I'm on Facebook. Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right, folks. Yes. We're just trying to get information from. We need information from everywhere now, because we need to know. We need to know what it is happening. What time is it? It is 10:42. This is the weather we were expecting at this time based on weather report and the weather pattern. The weather pattern there. So we're going to. Okay, I'm here, folks. So a number of broadcasts are on tonight. Now we have a missing person. Let me just ensure that this missing person list is right. Okay. Okay, we get that rectified there. Uh-huh. Oh my God. Okay, so while I am doing this, friends, we're gathering information, folks, gathering information. Okay. Oh, so Marvin went out in the rain. No, that's not in the weather. That's not a good thing to do at this time. I went to secure his dogs. Yes. All right. So I'm going to make one call, folks. Stay with me. We are your official watchdog for tonight. Please stay with me. Stay with me. Let me just take a break here. Okay, we are back. Thank you, Arnold. Says great job. Yes, we are doing our best to pull information from everywhere, bring it into one central point here. But I am not sure about the valley and the other surrounding areas, but we know for sure that there is no power there in Dennery. Let's hope that the power is back by now. There's major flooding, and we're keeping our citizens in prayer. Barbados, they're experiencing heavy wind and rain. St. Vincent also, there is no electricity in some parts of Martinique. So our friends in Martinique, you are in our prayers also. Let's go to Edith. Edith is saying the internet isn't working and no electricity in Swazel. I'm using mobile data now. So Edith, she's in Swazel, and she's reporting to us that there is no electricity there in Swazel. Caller, you're on the Air Caribbean American News Network.
Good evening, Brother Garfield. It's Anson Maxwell. How are you?
Oh, good. Not bad at all, sir. We just keep in track.
I was looking for the line. I've been looking for you. I saw you on, but I still can't find the line at this time. What frequency are you broadcasting on? Caribbean News Media?
Caribbean American News Media.
I don't see you live. I'm looking for you.
Yes, we're on live. I did not share the live, but our folks are on with us. Eva is reporting there is no power from 5 p.m. Edith, where are you from? Eva Blake, what community are you from? From 5 o'clock, there is no electricity. Okay, good. While we continue with receiving our updates, Anson, by now you would know that there is no electricity in Dennery, and the waters are now in the village itself. And
yeah, I saw a lot of flooding in Denver. There was not much rain from what I was told, but then I was watching it and I saw a whole lot of time. Earlier on, I saw you and I saw Marvin was covering it, which was a very good thing. I saw you, and he was on giving the broadcast. Many people were covering it, and I saw quite some water, like a major flood in Denver. But from what I was told, that there was not much rain, but the water was coming. So obviously the water was running somewhere in the Lefowe and the Basil and the countryside, that was very coming up.
Yeah, most of that water looked like it's coming from the ocean. The rainwater is expected later tonight with stronger wind gust.
As we speak, Brother Garfield, this is the village from where you and I are from. We pray that
that everybody is safe, and I hope that, that they have the mechanism in place, and well, the electricity and water is a natural occurrence in a time like this, and it's a time when we will expect this to happen. I'm just hoping that things can happen in quick time and be able to maybe clear the dam and get back the electricity in quick time for the people. I do not know in terms of shelter. What is your knowledge? What is, to your best knowledge, what is really happening in terms of sheltering? What's going on with, food, sugar, milk, for the people who maybe, placed in different areas? Do you have, I know you've been following it, so you would be more okuan with everything than I am right now.
I spoke to one of the shelter managers from Castries Central earlier on the platform. I also got information from the government that the shelters would not have been activated until after the storm. What we gathered tonight, based on reports from the government, is that they had to rescue a 90-year-old woman in Dennery from the waters. Also in Viewfort, persons had to be brought into the shelter. Shelters had to be opened in order to accommodate people at the last minutes. Very sad indeed. I know it. I have been involved in disaster preparation and management for a while. Even there in Dennery, I have a lot of experience. And it was shocking to me that I heard the NEMO director saying that the shelters are too expensive to manage. So we are going to open the shelter after the disaster. And
so what is the point of opening a shelter after a disaster? You actually heard somebody saying that the shelter was too expensive to manage. Did somebody actually verbalize that, or that is just something that people say is the truth in it, that you actually heard somebody say that the shelter is too expensive to manage? Is that what you're saying?
And I'm glad you asked that question. We heard it. I heard it for myself. All our listeners heard it. I played it over and over earlier. Our listeners heard it. They're the ones who informed me, and I had to get confirmation because it did not make any sense to me. That's when I called the Castries Central person there, who told me that it doesn't make sense to open the shelter before the hurricane and nobody comes in. And then the NEMO director said that it will cost a lot of money to open the shelters.
Let me tell you something. This is not something that I was hoping that anybody would say. There is no cost to any human life that is going to be, so expensive. The expense to shelter someone is put into monetary values.
Yeah.
If that's the case, that is very, very.
Now, don't take my word for it. I want you to confirm, because what I try not to do on this platform is to spread propaganda and mischief. I had to ask my callers.
I would take you to task if you do something like
That's
that.
right. That's right. And I should.
I would hope that somebody like you would have factive and investigative evidence before you pronounce the judgment.
That's right. So officially, I can confirm that statement was true. It was confirmed also by the call that I made earlier to Castries Central. And they said, and also a number was given. If somebody needed to be rescued, come into the shelter, they would call a number and stuff like that. And we went over to Barbados, and Barbados said that their shelters are open. People can walk in. People are walking in. It is well manned. There is food. There is everything. People can just come in and shelter themselves from the storm, and which was a good thing. That's how you do disaster planning and preparation. You don't say to the nation, it is costly, and then you
call. That would be a sad thing to tell a nation, that the cost is high to pay that. So like I said, I would have to be able, no matter in which context that it is, I am not sure, but this would not be a very nice thing to tell a nation. But let me ask you, in terms of the weather forecast, one of the things I would need to ask, how did the weather forecasted the hurricane in terms of the distance? Because when you say that, someone say they will open the shelter after the hurricane. I know there are people who are forecasting the hurricane and they would say, okay, it is so much time we expected at this time. The hurricane will be hitting St. Lucia around how many days from now? So apparently, was there something that took them by surprise and the preparedness was not there? And because of the weather forecast, was there a reason for someone to believe that there was still time left that was associated with the preparedness? I am trying to understand the logistics of the whole thing. Because if the weatherman is given one forecast and the person who is in the disaster preparedness committee is the preparedness is based on the information that they have been furnished by the weatherman, then they believe that they still have time. But if it is believed that the hurricane is upon us and someone is going to say that we cannot open there until after the hurricane, then what would be the point? But I am saying I want to understand what did the weather forecast, what was the presentation of the weather forecast, who these people depend on for the guidance in terms of preparedness. And they would make a statement like, I would categorically, here and now, denounce this. But I am still asking the question, was there a forecast that tell them that they had time by which they would be prepared to deal with the situation? And something unforeseen, like a trough or something came and they were still unprepared and say they couldn't open it now. I'm just asking the question. But
these are important questions that one should ask after this is all done. And I believe we will have to have
a drawing conclusion. As a research person in terms of how we report the news, do not forget we take our guide from the meteorologist. And if the meteorologist is saying that this, and then it shifts, like you can have something focused and they can say, okay, today is Thursday, but we're looking at Sunday, okay, where we're going to be hit. And there would be a shift in the tide of the hurricane that would make the people, the disaster preparedness committee, believe that we still have time. And if there was a certain shift in the wind that turned its focus on us, then we are caught off guard in an instance like this. But I don't think it would be somebody can make such a reckless statement without, being guided with the knowledge that the meteorologist told them that there was time by which to deal with the situation.
Listen to me. All I can say right now is that the lives of St. Lucians are at risk. Shelters. Wait. Let me finish. The risk. Right now, no electricity.
That's a common thing.
2, I'm not looking for excuse for this government. And the shelters, and the shelters are not functioning the way they should right now. And based on what I heard is that, if anybody wants to be sheltered, they will call this number. So let's say tonight here in Dennery, like we have a report here from Dennery that the winds and the rain are coming down. The winds are heavy and the rain, it is also heavy. That's a report we just got from an individual on the ground in Dennery. We also have a report here from the north. And let me read it. The winds are roaring up north. Very scary. Now, these are people, citizens, that are afraid tonight. Afraid. Tonight at around 9-something, an elderly at 90 years of age had to be rescued from a low-lying area. 90 years of age. 90 years of age. 90 years of age. Also, I don't care about age, But I am saying to you, a 90-year-old person should have been removed if she is living in a flood-prone area. The forecast was very clear that we have days to prepare for an impact tonight. It will get worse at 2 a.m. All of us heard the different radar, the reports of the different radar, the English, the U.S., Caribbean. We heard those confirmed reports that we should not take this storm for granted. The storm have met, the storm have acted exactly as predicted by all the professionals, by all the professionals in the weather business.
But I was on a live a while ago. The report you're giving me now, I was in St. Lucia probably 20 minutes ago. What you're telling me now and what I was on ground with everybody, the government is giving a report as we speak. So I get off the live, and I was in Sozel, I was in Labrie, I was in Denbury, I was in Nikot. What you were telling me now, and what, because as a matter of fact, I can go back and visit all the comments, and I ask everybody to tell me. I mean, there is a disconnect with the information that you have been furnished by compared to, and I don't think there is any favoritism in terms of the report that somebody would lie to me or to you. So there is some disconnect in the communication somewhere.
But
let me say to you,
from who? Disconnect from who? What are you talking about? From who?
No, I am just telling you, I was on a live a while ago, and I was asking questions in the various communities, okay? And they said, things beginning to calm down, okay? There is, there was somebody sent me the video in real time that there was something going on in Ancillary, that there was a lot of water. In terms of Denbury, where you talk about a 90-year-old woman was rescued, the water started coming down in Denbury long before there was any rain falling in Denbury. As a matter of fact, people were beginning to wonder where that water was coming from. There could not be a raging water coming from the sea and coming down because up from Twalo, the water is coming down. So there cannot be, there's no sea up there. You and I are from Denbury. You are from right where the flood is, and so am I.
But you would realize that I don't care where the water come from. The problem is that their lives.
From the sea.
Right, that's what I said.
No. The information has to be correct. There cannot be a water coming from the sea going up and coming down at the rate the water was coming up. And while there was no rain coming, and the water was coming. So, like I said, I have been say there is no electricity, and when you say there is no water, when you have flood, all the dams are blocked. There is no government.
So why? But what I'm asking, what is our this? But hold a minute, Hanson. You're kind of losing me. What is our discussion? What is our disagreement? I don't understand.
The disagreement is that you said that somebody had to be rescued. I am asking you here and now, as we speak to the people, I am saying something must have been wrong somewhere. I am asking you, what was the report on the weather forecast that said, that the hurricane is coming in today? It's okay, today's Thursday, or are we expected to be hit by the hurricane, let's say, for argument's sake, Saturday, or even Friday, or even Sunday? What is it that the meteorologist office provided the people who were supposed to be prepared for it? Were they warned by the people who were supposed to furnish them with that kind of information, and they neglected the information based on what was provided to them by the professionals? That's what I'm asking you. Did they neglect a warning? that today it's going to be ready, that the hurricane is going to hit us on Thursday instead of Saturday. But it hit us somewhere where we did not forecast for the people who we given the information to be ready for. That's what I'm asking. So I need to understand, was it a willful negligence or was it an oversight? This is what I'm trying to establish. I'm not saying you were wrong about it. I am saying your duty is to report what is going on. But what is the basis on which these reports are being made?
But you realize, but just to be short on this, because there are lives right now over there. What we're doing here right now, that is what you call post-mortem, which is done after an event. But for now, there are people out there who are afraid, they are scared, their families who have not had communications with their families. They are concerned. That's why we're here keeping the company. So if we can cut it short, post-mortem is done after. Whoever didn't follow the plan or whatever it is, that will be dealt with after. But for now, we have no, I understand. We have no electricity in areas. We have people are afraid because of the wind and noise, which rightfully so people would be afraid. Let me see here. I just got a report here, a weather update. Folks, bear with me. Let's go over here to this report. Just let me gather it up here. Bear with me, my people. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here is an official report from Brit. It is now 35 miles south of St. Lucia. 35 miles south of St. Lucia. And this is advisory number 15 from the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida. And that is as of 11 p.m. tonight. The center of Brit is near St. Vincent. Heavy rain and strong winds expected in portions of the Lesser Antilles through the night. And this is a summary of 11 p.m. National Hurricane Center there in St. Lucia. It is not a hurricane, it's a storm. It's about 5 miles, 10 kilometers east of St. Vincent. It is about 35 miles, 55 kilometers of St. Lucia. Maximum sustained winds, 60 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour. All right. And so, pardon me? Sustained winds. Okay. Minimum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour. Okay. So, warning, there are still warnings, advisory warnings out there for the people of St. Lucia. St. Lucia, okay, the government of St. Lucia has discontinued hurricane watch for St. Lucia. So it is not a hurricane watch. It is a tropical storm warning that is in effect for Dominica, St. Lucia, Martinique, Barbados, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. A tropical warning means that tropical storm conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area, in this case within 24 hours. All right?
Okay.
And so, brethren, there you have it. 35 miles, 35 miles of St. Lucia. And it is a storm moving at 60 miles per hour. We know that it moved from 30 to 70, and now it is at 60. And I can tell you 60 miles per hour wind, it is very dangerous. And again, you got to exercise extreme caution out there. So again, for Dominica, St. Lucia, Martinique, Barbados, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, a tropical storm warning is in effect for these islands, okay, these
How wide is the
countries.
storm? How many miles? How wide is the storm? The tropical storm.
No, that's not that type of report. It don't give that. Okay.
But Brother Garfield, our heart goes out to everybody. But you're saying as of now that they were expecting the tropical storm within a 24-hour period.
I am not.
Okay,
I am.
that is
Yeah,
still not.
I'm not saying that the advisory number 11 advisory as of 11 p.m. from the National Hurricane Center there in
Yeah.
Miami.
I heard what you said. And I share your concern, and I share anybody's concern. I like I said, I mean, we have disaster preparedness committee that has to be prepared for. I mean, that's what preparedness is. Preparedness is to be prepared. Okay.
Okay,
But
we just
we
sorry
cannot
about that.
prepare.
Yeah, we just had some. We just have some breaking news here, and this is from Catherine. Grosile have just lost their power supply. Those of you who are in some parts of Grosile, you have just lost your power supply. Earlier, we had one of our callers indicating that there were some issues with light in there. There was some flickering. So now it's official. There is no power there in some parts of Grosile. All right. So the information keeps coming in. Thank you so much, folks, for your patience of being here with us as we cover the storm. Yes, brother.
Like I said, in a time disaster means disaster. Preparedness is one thing. We live in America. When there is a disaster, things happen. I mean, powers are going out. Our water dams, when the water flood, almost any time there is a tropical storm, I mean, the rivers come down, it blocks the dam. Water, we have had to go many times. I've had to use my truck. I mean, when we had no water for days, I used my truck going up to Lefaway every time, load with people, going and trying to clear the dam for us with my truck. Load every day. I use my truck to go and clear. People were just coming together after the fact, which is a natural occurrence. It is not something we can avoid. So when these things happen, what we do is deal with it and deal with it fast. And I do believe that if sometimes you have water lines that burst, sometimes you have water lines that are clogged because of the sediment that goes into them. Our pipes can only hold at a certain amount of psi. When those silt goes into this pipe, they sort of block them. We have to choke them, and these are natural. What we need is to be able to deal with those situations. When we are faced with storms like this, we've been through these things before. Everybody, every government, every situation, everybody have had to deal with it. The effectiveness of how we deal with it, is that we need to count on that. We can come together and do it fast for the people. Our power lines are airborne. Okay, and if our power lines are airborne, trees are natural, falling. You're going to lose power. We have all our those big generators on the that when a tree hit them. But how fast do we deal with them? That's why people. It's like the virgins, who have some oil, and then we buy some candles, and we have kerosene. We put in our lamp. We have some flashlights because things are going to happen, but we just need to be prepared for them. To anybody, I hope to God that nobody lose their life. I hope to God that people are well taken care of in a times like this. I hope that the government would, do whatever it is within the power, that they would seek to ensure that everybody is taken care of, that there would be no favoritism, but look at the people who are affected, by a natural disaster and make sure that St. Lucian on the whole are taken care of. This is what I would love to see. I don't wish to see any discriminatory action against anybody.
okay, who are faced with a situation where, I mean, the carbonites fly out, they don't have some sugar, they don't have something, and then there is a means to give them something, and someone is passed by because of, an affiliation or association, or they're leaning, whichever way. This is one of the things I would not want to see at all. I am going to be really angry if I see something like this happening. But in terms of what is going to happen, whatever is going to happen will happen, okay? But we just need to deal with it and deal with it swiftly as a people, not as a party, but as a St. people. You know what I'm talking about? All of us collectively, not some of us set aside because of whatever other people don't like about us. I would hate to see this happening. Coming together is what I'd love to see St. Lucian doing a time like this.
All righty. Thank you. So thank you, brother, for calling in. I'm going to go to a report now. So thank you so much. Appreciate the call.
You're always welcome.
Thank you, sir. All right.
And thank you for keeping the people there. Thank you for the wonderful job that you're doing.
Thank you.
Of keeping the people informed. They need this kind of information.
All right.
God
Appreciate
bless
it. Thank you.
And the people. And to your listeners. Bye-bye.
All right, folks, we have a call coming in we have a clip coming in from Ancillary. We have a clip coming in from Ancillary. Let's go over to Ancillary. I think this is our first report or second report from that community. Let's go over there. Okay, so we need to get the audio, or did I? Okay, good. Reverend, let me just, Reverend, this is real. I would say to you that what is happening here, it is real. This is not a sport. It is not a game. The lives of people are at risk. Here is Ancillary. The water is coming up from the sea at this point. Denry, we have the water coming up also from the sea, and I'm sure you have the rain coming now, so you'll have that water coming down also from the river. Why the water is coming up like that in these low-lying areas? It is because the tide is high, the wave, they are high, and plus you have storm gale winds that are pushing the water towards the shores. And so I would say to our people out there is that you've got to be strong, you got to be brave, you got to stay put. As again, I don't advise you to just run out of your homes like that and get yourself into any problems. Brother Anson spoke earlier of what we call postmortem, dealing with looking at the breakdown in planning organizing, preparing for this event. What we do not do in our communities is to underestimate weather reports or to take it lightly. We have seen in the past fishermen being told to stay in shores, but they say, no, the people don't know what they're saying, so let's go out. And we've seen many of them get themselves in trouble. The government of St. Lucia had a lot of time in order to mobilize. When did we see meeting? We saw meeting started yesterday, right? We saw a meeting today. We saw the cleaning, the desilting of drains today. Did you not see it with your own eyes? We saw all that happening within a short space of time when these reports were out there. The Miami Weather Center updated us. The center in Barbados, Trinidad, Washington, all those these weather people gave us the information, said to us, prepare. It is developing. And by the way, they were very accurate in their predictions. Now, based on the report that we're getting from Miami at 11 o'clock, it shows that the storm is still strong when it comes to wind. 60 miles an hour. So right now the storm is very close to St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Martinique, Barbados, and North. It's very close. So what we will expect at this time, at 11:19, stronger winds, more rain, which will bring much more flooding in the country. So I am saying this, folks, to say that this too shall pass. And when it is all past, we will have the opportunity to clean up, to build, to repair, to fix our fences, our galvanize. We will also have the opportunity to look back at our emergency plans, understanding that we are living in a time of global crisis, an earth that is considered to be in constant changing mood, global warming. We know that we have the climate change. The weather patterns are going to be severe. They're going to be more severe. They're going to be different. We're going to see weather patterns that we have never seen before. And we heard the weather report that the storm, the hurricane season started earlier. The type of hurricanes that we are seeing now, the type of storms that we are seeing now, experiencing now, it is more, fierce. It's coming with rapido speed. So I just want you folks to hang in there. We will have an entire program. I'm not sure where I got a notification from somewhere. I don't know where it is. But let's ensure that it is that we're okay. Okay. Thank you, my friend Georges. Oh, my world. Okay, just give me a minute, folks. We will close just now, all right? But I will update you as I'll keep my signal on, and I will be logging in once I get information. But let me just read something here. This is in Denry. Hold a minute, folks. Let me just, I like to look at things first before I put it out. Wow. Calling you on the air, Caribbean American News Media. Welcome to the platform.
Yes, sir.
Yes, hello?
Yes, sir. Calling from St. Lucia?
Yes, you're calling from St. Lucia. How is St. Lucia, my friend, and what is going on in your community?
Well, in my community is very dusty, windy, and there's a bit of rain. But the wind is very, very strong.
Very strong. Is it raining?
It is raining, but not too heavily right now.
Okay, what part of St. Lucia are you calling from?
I'm calling from Miku.
Miku. All right, so is there any shelter in operation there in Miku?
According to what I heard on the news, it won't be open until after post-storm, according to what NEMAC on NEMO, whatever they call it now.
Yeah.
That on the news, it won't be open.
So you heard the same news. You heard the same news that they will not be open until after the hurricane, the storm.
Yeah, this is what I heard on the news.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So you heard exactly.
But I am not sure if any is open right now. I'm not sure if any is open right now, but according to what I heard on the news, what's that?
Okay, so the wind, it's very strong in your area, very strong.
Very, very strong because I live on a hill.
Oops.
So it's really strong around here.
Are you afraid?
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's good. You're a brave lady.
Yeah.
So you did all your preparation, your food and everything?
Not too much.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Because I'm always stocked up, so I don't have to worry about rushing and running my stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. But I'm happy to know you sung in good spirit, even though there's a storm around. You're in good spirit and everything else, and that's what we want. That's what we want to hear. You know, that makes me happy.
And there is no power, no power.
Oh, you have no power in Miko?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're reporting no power in Mico, no power in Dennery, no power in Viewfort, no power in Grosile.
And also Casaba, I know it's not having power. But
Casaba, oh, okay.
And Brother Tommy. So, yeah.
My
but
God.
Things are going here, there, everywhere too.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So we are not just playing around here. And by the way, we are actually reporting. We are reporting what we are getting from on the ground. What we are seeing, folks are recording. They are sending it to us here on our news desk, and we are presenting it as it comes. And by the way, the information that we gave earlier concerning Nemo and the shelters, they're accurate. And there is no excuse for our shelters being closed at this time. Finance is not is not an excuse for shelters not being open at this time. Yes, man. So you go to bed now? You're going to see if you can get some sleep now? It's going to be a long night.
No. I won't sleep until everything is over.
Oh, my God. So you have your cocoa tea and everything ready?
Well, not really right now.
I know. But I really...
But I just don't want to be taken by surprise. Having to wake up and having to go in the cold.
You want to know if you have to jump to the window and run down the hill that you're not caught by surprise.
That's right.
You're a soldier. I love that. You inspire me tonight. You changed my mood, my spirit. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're my angel tonight.
Okay, then.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you. You deserve a trophy. Okay, thank you for calling. Oh, yes. Caller, listen to me. That caller buoyed my spirit up. You know, let's go to some comments and then we'll see if we can take a break. We can, just pray and hope for the best. All right? Okay, good. Because I am really drained. Let me just put on my earpiece. All right? Okay, moving, shall we say, Brother Garfield, I think you're the only one on right now. Okay, I only hope she's okay. So Eva is saying, well, that's why I can't get my mom. She's right by the sea. Eva, where's that? In Dennery, let us know. You can't get in contact with your mom? Let me go. That's why I cannot get my mom. She right by the sea. Eva, again, where by what sea in what part of St. Lucia? Let us know. Oh my. Babino has power. That's good. Okay. Let me see here. How come it's after the storm, then people can't manage the country? Father God, put a hand. You are most high. As God, for only you giving us information. Thank God for you. Wow. Respect to you, Brother Garfield. Thank you so much. Merlin Gill, hope you're okay in your area. Oh, Miku. Oh, boy. So you can't get in contact with your mom in Miku, and she's living by the sea. Brethren, you know, what I'm saying is, and understand me, that I'm trying to be non-political as much as I can. I'm trying. Believe me, I'm trying. And why I say to you that I'm trying is that we cannot have elderlies by the sea. And we are planning and expecting a disaster, a storm. And we just say to them, go by families. Castries Central did a good thing, which I really love. They got all the people on the streets homeless and they brought them into a location where they fed them. That's a beautiful thing. That should have happened in every community. Our elderlies should not have been in their homes, especially by the sea, low-lying areas. They should have been removed and placed either with relatives or in a shelter. Period. So let's go to our report. So now we're having lightning and thunder there. Power gone in the north. Rachel want to go to bed, but she can't. Me too, I want to go and rest because my body is telling me to rest. I am not saying DBS or HTS not on, but can't get the feed. Oh. Those people living by the sea should have been moved earlier today, and that's true. And brethren, don't be apologized for speaking the truth. Don't you ever apologize for speaking the truth. Don't you do that. There is absolutely zero excuse right now for any senior citizen to be on a beach front in their homes, or any elderlies who are alone in their homes living. And they're still in their little plywood house, fighting to stay calm. No, sir. It would not have happened under me as a rep. Not especially in Dennery. No way. A matter of fact, I would lead the charge in preparedness in my community. I would ensure that all them senior citizens are removed. I know there are folks who are much smarter than me living in these communities and who are managing, but I would have really stepped it up a bit and get those shelters, at least 2 of them, fully functional, ready for anyone to walk in. And matter of fact, I would have gone to try to convince some of the people to leave, to come with me, which we have done before. The sad thing is that when you go to some of these senior citizens, they will say to you, Ma Alia, you know how long is 40 years, 50 years, my husband died. 50 years we live in here, and the water has come all around us, and the water not coming. In 50 years we here living, eh? Brother Garfield, 50 years, I stay right here in the storm. That's what I heard. That's what they used to say to me. I had to beg and to beg. Please, let's go. Please, let's go. This one is serious. Come. Sometimes they will say, you know, it's because of you where I come in, eh? But I stay here for years. All them hurricanes pass and nothing happened to the house, huh? That's the stories you have. So you have to do some convincing. You have to pamper them. You have to just bribe them in a good way in order to get them out of their home. Sometimes you have to go twice. Sometimes you have to have mandatory evacuation where you say to them, you know, you really don't have a choice to stay here. We got to move you. We can't leave unless we move you from this place. The waters are going to start coming up, and we cannot come out to get you after midnight. We just can't. It's going to be too dangerous for us to rescue you. We said that once to a elderly lady, and she said, no, guess what? We had to go in the dark to get her, you know. No electricity, we had to go walk in the water midnight to go get her. So I understand, but again, with proper strategies and plans, we should be able to protect the citizens of St. Lucia. Going forward, we need to review our response in each community to disasters. To each community. Churches must have their plans. Yes. So let me just read a little more. That's true. Everyone should be, Stephen, everybody should, you know, get involved and get themselves organized. Okay, no power. Folks, don't panic, all right? Anyway. Okay, anyway, we're going to shut the live down. I am sure that you wouldn't want that to happen. But I really got to get some rest, and then we will be, God's willing, in the morning early. We hope that everybody will be safe. We'll be back here. We'll be back on the platform to bring to you live reports. There's going to be a lot of lives out there tomorrow. A lot of photographs, a lot of videos, a lot of live programs tomorrow. So we should be able to tap into some of them, bring all of them together, so that at least we can have a discussion with you. But God bless you folks, and let's pray. Father, cover your children as the storm passes over. Like the songwriter says, keep me safe till the storm passes by. So cover, Lord, our listeners and their family. Cover the people of the Caribbean as they brace, Lord, for the final impact of the storm-forced winds. We know, Lord, that the wind and the waves shall obey thy will. We declare peace, be still. So we pray, Lord, that no lives will be lost. We pray, O God, that all will be well with the people of St. Lucia and the Caribbean. We pray, O God, that we will wake up tomorrow, God's willing, and we will worship you. We'll say, thank you, Lord. We might have lost a roof, lost a fence. But, Lord, we would have had our lives preserved. Thank you, Father. Thank you for everything. You doeth all things well. Morning by morning, your mercies we see. All we've needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness. Cover us, O God, as we sleep. Those who cannot sleep, Lord, just give them the courage, give them hope, give them faith. Teach them, Lord, to hold on to your unchanging hand and ride out the storm, because you are in the midst, Lord. You're in the midst of the storm. Teach us to calm ourselves and to remain calm. So bring us back together tomorrow morning where we can continue on this platform, and we'll be mindful to give you some worship. So until we meet again, may God bless each of you, and may you watch over you. May he protect you from harm and from danger. In Jesus' name. Folks, God bless you. My head is spinning, which means that I need to rest. Yes, it's actually spinning because my mind is going 24 hours. I'm concerned about my family. And I'm concerned about your family also. All right? So everybody, y'all stay strong. Don't go out. Please don't go out. And try to stay away from windows if possible. All right? Thank you for being here with me, for keeping the watch with me tonight. It was truly a pleasure. Truly a privilege. If I could have spent all night Just not, my body's not saying to do it. If I could have done it, I would have done it. You know that. So I really appreciate every one of you. And I look forward to having you on with us. I love you all. Y'all stay strong. Okay, and don't forget, for those of you who have supported our new coffee shop, thank you. Those of you who have not supported the coffee shop, please do so. Like in times of like these, with disasters, we want to respond, we want to help, we want to get involved. We will need all the sense and everything to do so. All right? I promise you that as we build, we will take care of those people. Let's come together the next disaster, God's willing, if we're still here, that we will help. We'll be able to help in the purchasing of groceries and everything else for in preparation for any disaster going forward. But please buy me a coffee, support the system. Buy me a book, it is, not a coffee. But the link is at the bottom. Please do so that we can stay on the air, we can help our brothers and our sisters who are less fortunate than ourselves. So, bonsoir. Good night, friends. Keep me in your prayer, okay? Thank you. Yes, I'll be back early in the morning, very early in the morning. Thank you.